Good evening, everybody. My name is Komal Jain, and I'm a part of Team Rhhyns. Um, as you all already know, that we had our Teens Roundtable on 28th of June at IMC Churchgate, and since then we've been hosting these mini roundtables on each dimension of health with our teens as well as experts from outside, so that we can have a nuanced and complete understanding of each of the dimensions that we're speaking about. Well, today's topic is spiritual health. We've already covered a couple of health segments before, like financial health, sexual health, physical health, and today we're starting on with our spiritual health. So, thank you all panelists for being here. Quickly introducing our experts for today, Sapna Ramaswamy ma'am, who is a life sciences professional turned Vedanta philosophy student. She is a teacher, a content creator, and a wellness practitioner who bridges Indian knowledge systems with modern living. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. We have Rishi Nanda, sir, known as the spiritualist. He is an author, trainer, and interfaith speaker who brings lessons from Indian epics into leadership, management, and everyday life with powerful simplicity. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. And then, of course, we have our three teens, starting off with Yashvi Trivedi, who is a 15-year-old youth advocate and national level footballer. Yashvi champions menstrual equity, teen mental health, and social inclusion with inspiring passion. Welcome, Yashvi. We're happy to have you here. Up next, we have Mahi Adya. At such a young age, she's already a confident public speaker and workshop leader who blends her love for teaching and creatives art with an eagerness to spark change. We're so happy to have you here, Mahi. And finally, we have Arini Joshel, who is a spirited 14-year-old TEDx speaker, writer, and Taekwondo champ. She brings intellect, empathy, and creativity to every conversation that is there. Welcome, Arini. We're so happy to have you here. Starting off officially our discussion on spiritual health today, Sapna ma'am, I'd like to start with you. Many teenagers today equate spiritual health, spirituality, the understanding of what spirituality is, often comparing or trying to understand it in terms of religion or how different it is from religion as well. Um, from a teen's perspective, what do you feel? How can we separate the two and help them understand that spirituality is a personal practice for more inner growth?
So I would like to share my personal views here. Religion and spirituality are hand in hand. At the same time, they can walk separate. So you don't need to believe in God to be spiritual. You just need to get in touch with that soul within you. So, getting in touch, the journey to be in touch with yourself, that is spirituality. But in this modern world, we are so fast, it's so fast paced that we get lost trying to achieve so many things. We have multiple targets. It's not even as if, you have one goal and you reach that goal. It's multiple targets, and trying to achieve everything, we lose ourselves. We lose touch with ourselves. So, and then our grounding, when we are in touch with ourselves, we are grounded. That grounding is completely lost. So, religion, I would say, is a more grosser form of spirituality. So, you have grosser and subtle, right? I'm not talking about the gross as in yuck gross. I'm talking more about the earthiness. So, where you ground that. So, it's a physical practice. So when you start doing the rituals, as you keep practicing, you automatically become spiritual. So it's not necessary that you have to do puja pat. It is not necessary that you have to visit temples. It is not necessary कि आपको बहुत कुछ पढ़ने का है. It is each one's journey is different. For some, religion is a base. For some, katha is a base. For some, bhakti is a base. Okay, so everywhere, anything, you have to start from a base. So you can't reach 12th standard without doing, LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard, right? So you cannot just jump. So to reach the spiritual level, thoda sa practice karna padta hai, and that practice is nothing but religion. As far as we keep this in mind, instead of identifying ourselves with the religion, because all of us are one. We are all the same. We may believe in different forms of the divine, but ultimately it is the divine, right? So that in that way, it is one. If you are a very advanced soul, then you don't need the religion. You can walk the spiritual path directly. But in this loss of ourselves in the journey, when you want to start on the spiritual path, then these practices help a lot. So basically, seva helps a lot. Karma yoga. Karma yoga really helps a lot. Yoga really helps a lot. Practices, meditation practices, breathing practices. So those don't come under the religion auspices. They come under the practice auspices. So then doing this, when you ground yourself, when you actually have to close your eyes and you have to uh, breathe deep, that is one way where you connect with yourself. When you're quiet, you're not doing anything, you're not watching screen, you're not watching TV, you're not interacting with people, you're not interacting with family, you're in a quiet space with no sound, there is no audio, there's no video, nothing. When you're with yourself and you're doing your pranayam, that's a time when you are trying to get in touch with yourself. So in that way, so you can practice it using karma yoga, you can practice spirituality using yoga, Raja Yoga. So, and bhakti is always there, that comes under the religion also. Every path is different. Ultimately, everything leads to one, and that is nothing but spirituality.
Absolutely hear you. And Yashvi, I'd like you to add that you're a part of sports, right? You advocate strongly for menstrual equity, mental health, all of these things. Where do you see spirituality or conversations between teenagers surrounding spiritual health, in like your self-identity, in how your body reacts to things, and so?
I think in sports, it's really seen because I've been in moments where I'm in a like a 45-minute match of football, and we're like every time it's very physically exhausting, right? So one time we were playing against this really hard team, and my coach had put me on this one player, and I had to defend the ball from her throughout the 90 minutes of the match. So it would be very difficult because she was the best player on that team, and I had to make sure that the goal wouldn't be scored in our goalpost from her. So if by any chance she would go in our goalpost, then it will be all my fault. So, and I have this thing where I'm very bad with stamina. So my stamina isn't really that good. So it was very physically exhausting for me. But one thing is that sometimes when I'm playing football, I keep saying to myself, like, don't think, just focus on the match. Like, I keep saying no thoughts. And I keep saying that to myself. And over time, by practicing this, like by grounding myself on the field, I feel more connected to myself. And even though we lost the match in the last 30 seconds of it, because that same girl, she somehow managed to score, I feel like through just getting to know myself better, through learning better grounding techniques, especially in like high pressure situations, I've come to know myself better and what I'm good at. So I think at those times, practicing spirituality and learning how to forgive yourself and then calming down in moments of high pressure is really important. And you have to do that while practicing. So as teens, we have so many other places where this can also be implemented. For example, during exams or during times where we're feeling excluded out of something for a group. So yeah,
I hear you, and that's so beautiful that you shared a personal anecdote for it as well. Something that you've experienced. Alini, I'd like you to add on this. Like you've balanced academics, sports, creativity, so many things that you're doing. right? How do you see spirituality helping or supporting teens avoid burnouts? Because there are so many teens these days that are participative in so many different areas. Like there's extracurriculars, there's academics, and they're excelling, or at least they're pushing themselves to excel in multiple areas in their own lives. How do you see spirituality helping out or help them manage the burnout that they might face when it comes to all this?
Hello, hi, I'm Arini, and uh, thank you for that introduction. I feel like managing it all is not as hard as making myself feel confident because right now in my sport, I'm afraid that I'm not able to give enough time to it because of my studies, and I'm afraid I'm not giving enough time to my studies. But I feel like sitting for a second and thinking back on my accomplishments, on what I have accomplished so far, being in the ninth grade and doing so much, and like thinking good about myself, thinking positively about myself really makes me feel better. I think that's a great way to manage it. And I think diverting my attention towards something that is neither the sports nor the academics, but focusing on a point where I'm actually calm, I'm cool, I'm collected, maybe playing with my sister, maybe just chatting to my friends. I think that really helps.
Wow. And as I see it, especially Rishi, Sol, and Sapna these days, um, not just teenagers, but the younger generation as a whole talks a lot about mindfulness as a concept, and grounding as a concept. So Rishi, sir, you have worked with corporates, you've worked with youth, you've worked with a bunch of age groups and different demographics. What is something? What is your favorite lesson from the epics that helps teenagers, navigate ambition, navigate all this rush that we have? That hey, we have to accomplish so much, and yet talking about mindfulness and spirituality without losing balance.
First, thank you so much for the opportunity and the introduction. So, Grace of God, I get to travel a lot, and I've traveled the length of breadth of this country, and I've interacted with, as you rightly said, with different age group and demographic. Uh, you know, so there's a one story that I always, share with the youngsters. It's for all age group actually. So nowadays, what had happened is because of, the instant gratification that is taking place, and because of WhatsApp, because of Reel, because of all these things now. So the patience level is quite limited. It's generally quite limited, and invariably people are feeling that success should be instant and success should remain for a longer duration as well. Well, but that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It will have its ups and downs and all. So, and I tell them my favorite story from Indian epics is, though I speak a lot on Ramayana and Mahabharata, but my favorite, story and my biggest lesson that I've learned is from Samudra Manthan. So Samudra Manthan is basically, a story. So if I take it as a metaphor term, there's a churning, of the sea that takes place, and there are asur and there are devtas over there. So the devtas represent the positive mind, the asur represent the negative mind. Now, in that journey, a lot of articles keep on coming. And then there is this, what you call the poison, which Mahadev has to, take, or apne kant mein atka dete. And then again the churning comes, and then Lakshmi comes, and then the Amrit comes. So it's a long story, but this is the sequence of it. So I tell them that my biggest learning is कि जो अमृत है ना वो जहर के बाद मिलता है. जहर को पहले पीना पड़ता है, वो एडजस्ट करना पड़ता है. There will be time where you'll feel that you've lost everything, but you cannot give up at that time. You have to focus on the controllables, because there will be a test of time, there will be a test of God, and once you clear that, then you get the ultimate success. Because you'll get short success, you'll see failures, you'll see everything, but don't give up over that. Don't give up. The youngsters, I think, are smart. They're much smarter than us. I genuinely believe in that. And if I'll just take a moment also, to share. I There's this myth that people believe that the youngsters are not interested in religion, or they are not interested in spirituality. I think they're more than us. It is just that they have got valid questions and they need answers to those questions. You know. So as you were asking, Sapna ma'am, and a question on religion and spirituality. I'll just take a very simple example. जैसे हमारे में क्या होता है, जब पूजा होती है तो हम तिलक लगाते हैं बीच में, over here we apply. Now अभी आप religion में, if I'm a religious person, I'll apply it. A spiritual question will question why it has been applied here, why not here, because that will lead you the answer which will help you to grow in life. So यहाँ पे it is a center point. So once you apply over here now, you'll see all the veins getting relaxed over there. It is supposed to be where the conscious subconscious mind is getting connected. It's the awakening of the third eye. That is a logic behind it. So once you start questioning with the intention of learning, not as a rebel, that is where I think a person starts taking steps towards spirituality. And as Sapna ma'am said that earlier also, that religion will help you lay the foundation, understand the grassroots level, what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. But when you start asking why, it will lead you to spirituality. And then people understand the science, logic, philosophy behind it. And then they can implement in their day-to-day life, with full conscious over them. Which I think the young, this Gen Z, what you may call them, they are into it. They will question why. They will not, follow any ritual blindly. But if they understand the logic behind it, they will do it full-heartedly. So that is what my understanding has been with these, with all the people across India now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that. I think there's a beautiful story and something that you really highlighted. Um, Mahi, I'd like to, move this question further to you that you've taught time management to other kids. You go up on multiple stages and you do talk. Um, how is it that you ground yourself, or how is it that you stay centered, when you're up on the stage? And would you see that as a form of spirituality? How would you describe that?
Somewhere I really believe that a person can actually stay spiritual is basically from their thoughts. Everything depends on if the person is thinking positive or if the person is thinking negative. So here, if I talk about me being on a stage, my mom always told me that you really need to talk to yourself and you need to push yourself forward even when before you're entering a stage and before you're going to give a speech. You should always know and you should always be aware of what you're going to say on the stage after going on there, and the thoughts that come before to you. She always made sure that they are positive thoughts. They are not something like, you can uh, people will people are going to judge you or anything. They're always going to be that, some people will like you and some people won't, and you really need to focus on the positive at the moment, because if you go there and if you fumble, it will be an factor where you will feel that what you wanted to do on that stage was not completed, was not fulfilled. So this is what I really feel. And even if we see social media as a source, there are two different parts to it, positive and negative. There are so many actors and actresses who get comments that are really judgmental on their posts. Some of them are really, bad. So we see some of them committing suicides for it, and we see some of them ignoring those and going towards success. Like I remember watching a podcast of Prajakta Kori, and she says that she blocks people out of her Instagram because she doesn't like to spread negativity, or she doesn't want people to come and spread negativity on a channel where she's spreading positivity. So that's what I feel.
Wow, I love the statement that you made about, spirituality is shaped by how you think, what you think, what is the thought content, um, right? And taking that forward, Satna ma'am, I'd like to ask you. She mentioned about, having thoughts about yourself. How is it that it is? How do all these things, external things, uh, affect our self-identity per se, right? So when it comes to peer pressure and self-doubt, what do you feel in your experience? What is that one Vedantic idea, a practice that can help teenagers build resilience against all this? Because in the world of social media, like Mahi rightly mentioned, it's uh, it's almost unavoidable to have somebody say something to you, even if it's a stranger for that matter, right?
So, as Mahi already very beautifully put it, one Vedantic concept that is extremely simple is choice. You choose. You get to choose whether you want to be happy. You get to choose whether you want to listen. You know who you want to listen to, what you want to listen to. So that choice, if they can exercise, and that choice starts with self-awareness and self-love. When you put what you want, I'm not asking anybody to be selfish. No, there is a difference between being selfish and being self-aware. When you know who you are, right, you choose only the good for yourself. So that choice as a Vedantic concept is something that is very, very important. And the best way, as I already mentioned, learning how to be by yourself without any external disturbances like your screen or friends or anything, any distractions. Just learning for in a day 10 minutes, just spend with yourself to find out what kind of a person you are. Who are you? When we ask, we as adults ourselves, we draw a blank. We don't know what we like. हाँ ये भी चलता है, हाँ ये भी पसंद है, हाँ वो भी पसंद है. So when you spend time with yourself, you will know actually हम लोग को क्या पसंद है, क्या पसंद नहीं है, right? And when you start knowing that self awareness that comes in, and then when you stand up for yourself and say मुझे ये पसंद नहीं है, I don't want to do this. Saying no, the choice that you are taking. I want this, I don't want that. That will really help teenagers with peer pressure, with stress, because then you get to choose what you want in your life. And when we choose it consciously, it is not thrust upon us. It is not, karna padta hai. You guys are, young, ye sab hota hai, ye sab riti riwaz hai. So blindly mat follow karo. Understand what you're doing it. And then when you make the choice of doing it, no, that really helps. You do your and you give your 100% on that. Then stress nahi hota because you're really liking it. You have chosen it. Right? That really helps.
Absolutely. I think you brought on a very, very important point, which is, it is a matter of choice at the end of the day. I'd like to open an open question for the teenagers first. And if you could inculcate or if you had to design one spiritual health habit for schools and for junior colleges, what is that one habit that you would bring up?
Can I start? Okay, so I would just like to ask, do you mean like a particular student in a whole college, like something that a college starts for all the students, or
Yes, so like a spiritual health habit that the school inculcates in their own design.
okay?
Is there
So
for
I guess nowadays school have counselors. So if these counselors could have journaling sessions and you know um, vision board sessions where every student could actually sit down and make their own vision board or write something down that they actually wish for. That's where I guess school can actually try inculcating law of attraction, because nowadays it's really important for people. And even vision boards, um, some of them are small goals and some are long term goals, and it really helps. So I feel vision boards will actually go help ahead.
Yashvi or Alini?
So yeah, going ahead with what Sapna ma'am said, I think letting students know that they have a choice or they can decide what it is that they choose to do. I think that really honestly will help a lot, or not only in schools, but like you said, in junior colleges as well. Because like Sapna ma'am said, I think yes, realizing that you do have a choice will severely impact how you are doing what you are doing, and it will impact it for the greater, for the better.
Also, I think that schools can teach students to be more practical because, in terms of spirituality, it's more about getting to know yourself better. For example, identifying what emotion you're feeling, and when you're being stressed or anxious, managing that. I think more than just having sessions or lectures on how to be more spiritual, schools can teach it in terms of practical implementation about how you can implement spirituality in your daily lives. And like Arini and Sapna ma'am said, about having a choice in doing that as well. But I think schools should start to make their like social and emotional learning sessions more about practical implementation. Like mostly what it is that students feel very bored in these sessions because they just see this as some textbook topic. But in terms of actually, and that's why they, in their further lives, they kind of stray away from this part of their lives because it's like something that most schools teach as a like a subject of its own. But when you learn to implement it in your daily lives in terms of like real examples, and when you actually try to experiment it, it can be much better.
Absolutely. I think you're all three of you gotten great points. Rishi, so to end this conversation, what is that one misconception, especially like from our discussion today and otherwise that you've heard that teenagers have about spirituality, and what is that one habit that they should really inculcate? Like Sapna really highlighted that, know that you have a choice. Um, what is something that you would like to highlight as well for us?
I'll tell you my experience now with youngsters quickly. Usually, as you already said, I do only corporate, but there's this one college in Pune where my wife and I've been going since 2017 every year, and we teach management lessons from Mahabharat to 1,000 students every year. We just stay there for 15, 20 days. And a lot of time it has happened that, after the sessions, hundreds of students have come up to us and said that, we never saw Mahabharat the way you explained, or anyone would have explained, or, the learnings that are there. I always tell people that don't judge the book by its cover. It's very important that we learn AI. It's very important that we learn you know all the great techniques and technology that is there, but do not discard the gems of Indian epics. At least, and I agree. I think Yashvi said that it has to be brought to youngsters in such a way that they feel like reading it or they feel like learning from it, but don't discard the learnings, because when we were growing up there was a subject called moral science. I really don't know if it is there in school now, and if it is there, till what standard it is there. So we became spiritual at a very young age when the lessons were taught to us, and then the question was asked, what is your takeaway, what you will do, what you will not do. I think you should read Ramayana and Mahabharata from a perspective, or any other, from whichever religion you're, whichever your religious books are, from a perspective that how do you lead life, because all these books will help you to be a better decision maker. It will really help you. Like I think Sapna ma'am earlier said that people have choice, they should know what to do. I think yes, and what to do, and also it is important to know what not to do, because if you know what not to do, your decision making is very simple in life. That this is something I will not do. Say I'll not take drugs. So my decision is very simple. If drugs are there in front of me, I know what not to do also. So it is very important for youngsters to know what to do and what not to do, your decision making, because it's very simple. Read the books. Now there are so many podcasts, there are so many YouTube. Social media is not bad. Genuinely it is not bad. But what you're watching on social media decides your career. If you're watching TikTok or a TED Talk, your career gets decided between that today. So probably that is where the youngsters should focus on. Watch the right set of channel, like up our Roundtable or something like this on a lighter note. But watch the correct content and then evolve over there. You don't need to read. So at least listen. Dedicate. Let's say like how Sapna ma'am said, 10 minutes in a day. It's more than enough. More than enough. I think. So yeah, that is all.
Absolutely. I think we've discussed a lot of strong points today, and it was a perfect way to end in terms of understanding what not to do. I also believe that all the teenagers brought in great points about how is it that they're managing spirituality and also how it intersects with the kind of daily activities that most teenagers have. And of course, my heartfelt thank you to both of the experts for bringing in such insightful points today, and to our team speakers for uh, you know moving the needle forward after our roundtable on 28th of June. And yes, a big thank you to everybody watching. Yes, Rishi sir.
Sorry, I'll just take a minute, because we were discussing about spirituality and awareness and all that. So there is this concept called 3 pillars of life. And it means that a man's life, and it's for everyone, it's from from Gen Z to the all the elderly people. So a man's life, and when I say man, it's a woman also, by the way.
Yeah.
Man's life is based on three pillars: health, wealth, and relationship. And at any given moment of time, in everyone's life, across globe, minimum one pillar will always have a problem. If your health and wealth is good, there will be challenging in your relationship. If your wealth and relationship is good, there will be challenges in your health. If health and relationship, your wealth will have some challenges, but challenges will be the 100%. Hmm? So how Sapna ma'am, earlier said that, you don't need to be selfish and all. You have to be selfless. But, there's this line that we have coined that we say that you have to be ruthlessly, shamelessly, be selfish in life to be selfless. You have to be selfish to be selfless. For example, if I am selfish to earn money so that I can spend it on my near and dear one, I can do some charity. I'm selfish to take care of my health so that I'm not dependent on the people whom I want to take care of it. You have to take care of yourself first, and then probably you'll have to take care of other people. So if you're not in a positive frame of mind, you'll not be able to spread positivity. So everything starts with you, everything ends with you. And for me, that is what spirituality is all about. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of other people. There is this line in Hindi, whose line it is, I genuinely don't know, but I love that line. It changed my entire thought process a couple of years ago. It went something like this: जिनकी चिंता में तू जलता है उम्र भर, जिनकी चिंता में तू जलता है उम्र भर, एक दिन वही तेरी चिता को आग लगाएंगे. दूसरों की चिंता करना कम कर दे प्यारे, खुद की चिंता कर, एक दिन बिना किसी और की चिंता किए बगैर जी के देख जरा. At the end of the day, please take care of yourself, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, so that you can take care of other people. You know, so I think that is what, for me, would spirituality would be.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think that's a very, very beautiful point. Um, and thank you so much, Rishi sir, for sharing that. Yes, Sapna ma'am.
I really love the way Rishiji has put it. You have to be selfish to be selfless, very aptly said. So, one more thing, this doesn't have an age bar. Everybody think, okay, अभी relationship है, अभी शादी करना है, अभी पढ़ाई करना है, और 50 साल के बाद या 60 साल के बाद. This doesn't have an age. Actually, it's better the younger you start, the better it is. So spirituality does not have an age. It can start right from Godi se. And it is very important to start it earlier. Earlier, the better. I just wanted to end it with that. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Rishi.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that, ma'am, as well. Since our focus for these roundtables have been teenagers and their health, I think that really adds that earlier you start, the better. And again, bringing that back, thank you to our teen speakers for sharing their understanding of spirituality as well. Thank you to our experts. Thank you to Team Rhhyns. And, we've loved hosting these mini roundtables. Looking forward to the next one.